Fight fans, welcome back to Kyle Prepolec MMA. My guest today, getting ready, returning to the UFC. This time he's going all the way over to Serbia here August 1st, taking on Mateusz Rebecki. He is the Canadian kill shot, Kyle Prepolec. Kyle, what's up, my friend? How are you?
I'm good, my man. How are you?
I'm doing good. So here we are. We're making our return here in the second stint of our UFC run. For you, man, when do you start feeling the fight? Is it the week of? Is it when you fly over? When do you start feeling it?
There's a bunch of different moments. Like, I know as soon as they're like, oh, you got fight news. And I'm like, all right, as soon as we get the contract, we're going to be, we'll get that little, like, adrenaline jump. And then when I get my hands taped, there's like a bunch of different moments where I'm like, oh, yeah, it's game time.
Absolutely. You know, martial arts has really evolved everywhere here in the last 30 years. At one point, people were calling this human cockfighting. It wasn't legal in every state. It wasn't legal in every province. You've been doing this for like 20 years plus at this point. When you first started getting into this, do you remember any early promotions where you fighting in maybe bars, barns, outside, no weigh-ins? Do you have anything crazy from back in the day?
Honestly, everything you listed, yeah. From fighting in bars where people could smoke inside the bars and you fight at the same time, and fighting outside didn't matter how hot or how cold. All types of different promotions, especially in the States.
Absolutely. You know, when I was growing up, obviously some of the core Canadian OG fighters, you had your Mark Homniks, you had your Rory McDonalds, you had your GSPs, you have the guys from London. It was really Ontario and Quebec scene. What did those guys mean to you? Are those guys inspirations at all to help pave the way for the newer guys we're seeing now?
Oh, 100%. Like, they're for sure not only like the role models, but like, the idols and the things to strive for, right? Like, how good Sam Stout is, how good Hominick is, Chris Clements, Ronson, all those guys who really pioneered their way for all of us to get in as well. So it's huge having that. Even like, like Chad Laprise, all those guys, like, it gives you a good outlook, and it gives you like something to strive for and hope, especially if you're in this game, because it's like, man, I know these guys. I can do it. They're doing it. So can I. And then, here we are.
You know, we're at a stage now in Canada where you also have multiple different big regional shows. You have Battlefield, BTC, there's Unified. Is that pretty cool to see now for younger guys, actual pathways to the UFC?
Oh, way better. It's like, because back then, even before, because we only had the Score Fighting series for a little bit, but before that, we had like Fighting Spirit MMA, which was like Oneida Reserve and then Walpole Island Reserve, like all that stuff. Now we have Battlefield, we have Unified, we have BTC, we have now Rising Stars. We have all these new leagues, and it just helps establish all these young athletes to, chase the dream just like I am.
You know, so many people's watching MMA now, and I feel like they look at the GSPs, the John Joneses, the Tupurias, and they see the fame, the fortune, the glory of it. When you're trying to get there, man, you're not making much money fighting on the regional scene. You're staying up late, waking up early. It's hard to have a kid. It's hard to have a relationship. All of your eggs are getting into this basket. You've been in and out now a couple times from the UFC. What's made you want to stick with this and keep sacrificing every day?
Just love for the game. That's it. It's love for the game, and I know there's only so much time to do what I'm doing, and there's only so much time in life in general, so it's like, why not give it a shot, do something great, and you either become great or at least you tried, right? So I know in my heart that I have become great, and I'm amongst the elite of the UFC, and it's better to be a has-been than it ever was.
You know, for you, do you think that fighting is more mental than physical?
Everything, yeah, it's way more mental. Like, probably 90% and plus is all mental. It's all mental. Like, I know there's people who don't train and they have that mentality of, all right, let's just go. I see red. It's like, that's part of it, but you're not seeing red. You're actually seeing with clarity, but you're also putting that chaos and articulating it into motion, basically.
You made your UFC debut 2019 against Nordine Talib. Where were you at when you got the phone call that you were first signed to the UFC?
I was at my local restaurant bar for a friend's birthday, John Max, and I was having some chicken wings, and I was like, oh, like I'll have a beer, whatever. And then I'm like, well, guess I'm not having that anymore. Guess we got to get ready. So yeah, that was basically where I was at, and I was like, well, 6 days notice, at least we're ready and on weight. So here we go.
Your first time in the UFC, you had a couple fights, didn't go your way. Then you found yourself outside of the UFC. What was that time like in your life trying to get back?
It was a little crazy for everybody because like I got released due to a health issue, and then pandemic hit. And then it was like, okay, let's stay ready just in case, because someone may fall through and they might be like, hey, we'll give you another shot, like one fight deal. Like, just hope for that. And then I was like, you know what? I'll just stay ready, keep my mind occupied while everything pandemic wise is going, and, go from there. And then as time went on, I was like, okay, I'm getting older. If they don't call me, there's other leagues. And then I was like, you know what? As long as I just finish in another big league and then do my thing and then move on, then we're good. And then I was like, oh, here we go. We beat Michael Dufort, got the samurai belt, went up to fight Campbell on a catch weight that I thought I won. It was close. It is what it is. And then went on a 3-fight first round win tear of just TKOing everybody. And then sure enough, we were like, okay, we got to get at least one more fight, and then maybe we'll get called back. And then guy fell through, and we're like, hey, we'll do it. We'll take him on. Just got to hit him.
You briefly mentioned about that Michael Dufort fight. I mean, you were just released from the UFC at the time. Dufort, one of the top prospects in Canada. How satisfying was that victory for you?
It was very satisfying. Like it was one of those where I was like, I'm facing another elite Canadian athlete where, he's super well-rounded, very good grappler, very unorthodox striking. And then, I was able to beat him everywhere. And I was just like, yeah, I'm still in the game. I can still do this. I can still hang with the best.
Absolutely. The life of a fighter, it's a roller coaster. Obviously, you have your high moments, and those lower moments are lower than anyone knows. How do you think you have grown and evolved as a person from being in this game?
From my younger self to now, it's like who's real and who will be there on the lowest of lows, and who's real and is there with you on the highest of highs. But the most important is the lowest of lows. The people who are with you, the people who check up on you, the ones who are there behind the scenes, where it's like they're not just yes people. They're like, hey, they're concerned about your health, your well-being, and things like that. That's the real important stuff.
What do you want your kids to take away from this journey?
Never give up, and whatever you do, go all in and do your best. And that's basically it. Like, just work hard and then be patient, and good things will come.
You're a type of guy, man. You're really any place, anywhere. When you look at your second stand in the UFC, these three names, Benoit Saint Denis, Drew Dober, Mateusz Rebecki. I mean, you're not fighting easy guys here. Your whole regional scene, you've always tested yourself. You've always fought top guys. How much pride do you take in that?
I take a lot of pride in it. It's a good thing to, have accomplished, being like, you've never really said no to anybody. And we're just like, we're up for the challenge, not only as an athlete, but also as a competitor and a fighter. Like, I get to test my skills and, get better at it each match, and then become even better, not only as a human, but also as an athlete. So I take a lot of pride in it, where it's like, there's no such thing, like there is such thing as like easy fights where it's like, okay, like this shouldn't happen, but it did. But, for majority of the career, it's like never said no to anybody. We took whatever fight was like in front of us, and then, we did what we had to do.
Last May, you had a huge opportunity. Benoit Saint Denis, just a week or so notice in Canada, one of the big cards of the year. What was that whole experience like?
It was the best way I can describe it. It was so fast that I didn't have time to digest it all till it was all done. But it was one hell of an experience. Went from, being, like a prelim guy to all of a sudden, hey, you're opening this pay-per-view and you're fighting, a guy who's just about to fight for a title if he would have beat, Dustin Poirier. And it was, I'm like, all right, let's go. I just got to do what Poirier did. So I'm like, I can do that. Let's go.
So you're getting ready. You're taking on Mateusz Rebecki here August 1st. Overall, what do you think of him as an opponent?
Honestly, he's just like everyone else. Like, he's a tough guy. Every fighter in the UFC, like the best way I can describe it in video game terms is everyone's a boss fight. So just got to get in and beat the boss.
Absolutely. I enjoy watching both of you guys. Both of you guys like to go for the finish. You're fun, exciting fighters. You think this could be one that the fans get excited about?
I think it's good for me and Rebecki, but most importantly for the fans. And it's good to see that the UFC, matches us together, being like, these guys aren't boring. Let's let these guys go at it and put a show.
So this is the first time you're fighting now in the Paramount era. Obviously, this year kind of revolutionized the UFC. If you get a bonus, $25,000, you can mess around and get a $100,000 bonus. Is it kind of crazy knowing that these rules are in place now?
I think it's honestly, I think it's a great thing because it gives more incentive for exciting fights, I believe. Where it's like, I know people complain about fighter pay, but it's like, you see how it is when you come up. It's like you show up for your first fight, it's like maybe $500. So yeah, obviously when you get to the bigger leagues, yeah, it'll pay better, but you also have to do your part and, fill those seats up, be marketable, be those guys. So, having those bonuses now go to 100K where it's fight of the night or performance of the night, it's fantastic. And then even if you don't get those bonuses, you can still get a finish bonus, whether it's a TKO or a submission. It's fantastic. It makes people want to fight harder to get those things. So I think it's a good step in the right direction for future athletes to also get paid more, but have a better, I guess, longevity in the sport and better, I guess, financial standpoint.
I was talking once to a fellow Canadian fighter, Sean Pearson. He was telling me when he first started getting into it, he said, I was doing this just make a couple $100, just have some fun. We're at a point now where obviously guys have a whole career, make a whole living off of fighting. When you first started getting into this years ago, did you ever see a world in which the sport would be what it is today?
Yeah, honestly, I never really even thought of it like that. I thought, eventually it was just going to, overthrow boxing. And then it was like, okay, then now these MMA fighters can get like that boxing money, like when there's the Mayweather, the Canelo money type stuff. And then we're slowly seeing it now where it's like, even, I know it's unfortunate what happened to Connor, but him making that money, Max Holloway making that money, all these guys now making close to that money. And I think it's a right step in the right direction for not only just other MMA promotions, but for all the athletes as well to finally get paid what they're supposed to get paid.
There's so many fans now. We have a term called the casual fan. So sometimes if you're at Boston Pizza watching the fights, you might hear twist them in the what. You read some crazy stuff. You see some crazy stuff. Since you've been back in the UFC here, has any comments about yourself, any memes, anything on the internet made you laugh?
There's quite a few things. It's like I'll get random messages. Some are just I had 18 and up. I can't even go through those. Those are terrible. But the other ones is like, I'm getting love from places all around the world where I'm like, when I first got in the UFC, it was like, like I would get emails of just people talking smack or messages just saying like, oh, you're a bum, you're garbage, all this stuff. I'm like, who are you, man? Like, I don't even know who you are. You took time out of your day to like spread hate. I'm like, I don't even know who you are. But now when I got back into the UFC, it's like, oh, I'm getting more love and support now than when I first got in. So I don't know if it's because like I had to go through that little bit of a hardship and they're just like, oh, like he's still going after it, like whatever it may be. But like the tone changed. I still get the random hate messages here and there, but It's a lot more support than there is hate this time. That's for sure.
I think for the most part, the casuals are understanding now. You're trying to win fights, get bigger fights, win belts, and all that stuff. But very few people understand the fight outside the fight. To me, that's that fight not to have clock in at 9 o'clock, the morning clock out at 5. That's that fight to secure financial freedom. It's the fight not to live by societal norms, live a life on your terms. For you, has this been a big part of your story?
Yeah, it's like the goal for me with fighting is, the freedom. I like the freedom of the sport where it's like I have I know what I have to do, I know what my job is, but I also get the freedom to act and do as I want and get paid as I, perform basically. And knowing, sky's the limit, like the opportunity with the UFC and Paramount and all those things, it's like these are all things that are very possible, especially if like for guys, even for let's say contender series guys, it's like, you get your money, do your thing, but if you're smart with it, it could actually go a long way because you're getting this large chunk of change all at once, and it's like, okay, pay your taxes, pay your thing, but do something smart with it because there is no second plan with that. Like it's not like other big leagues where they have, I don't know what is it, like a pension and all that. So it's like you create your own pension. You got to be, smart with it, not just be like, oh, I'm a rock star type thing, unless you're making that Connor money. But even then, you got to be smart.
Absolutely. One question I love to ask Canadian fighters is from like October to June or July, you have the NHL season. When you're fighting on Saturday nights in this time frame, is it hard to battle attention? Like you're in Ontario, a lot of people like the Maple Leafs. Is it hard to convince your friends, family not to watch the Leafs and watch you fight instead?
Um, no, they kind of like they'll watch the fight and then they can just always flip back. But like I know, like my friends and family will always give me that support, and or they'll do both at the same time. Be like, all right, we'll watch one on the phone, we'll watch one on the TV. But they're always there to support from my close family and my close friends. Like even my like external family, like on my wife's side, like everyone gets together to watch the fights, and I'm like, and they're not into like they only watch it because I'm on it, and that's basically it. Other than that, they're just like, man, we don't really care for it, but because you're on it, we're gonna watch.
There you go. All right, Kyle, last question for you, my friend. In a perfect world, what is the outcome August 1st when you take on Mateusz Rebecki?
The hand's raised, brother. The hand is raised. The hand's raised, and we get the finish in an exciting fashion, whether it's a TKO or we take the neck and we sub them, or we get performance bonus or that fight of the night. That's the goal. Let's entertain and do what we got to do.
Absolutely. Well, Kyle, man, thank you so much. I know we're really close to the fight. You have a flight to catch here soon, but I really appreciate you. Wish you nothing but the best, brother.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you and your patience to get me on here.
No worries, man. That's it for us today. I'm Carl Percy. He's Mr. Kyle Prepolec. You can watch him taking on Mateusz Rebecki August 1st. Don't believe fight fans. It's going to be a fun one.